If you struggle with back pain for more than a few months, you will inevitably try out several different solutions. And you may be shocked to find out that a lot of the things you try have no effect at all. And to make things even weirder, a lot of these things will actually be recommended to you by doctors, out of all people. In this video, I will talk about the 12 things that I ran into that proved to be pure waste of time and money. You should keep in mind at all times that this is just my experience. If these things didn't work for me, it doesn't necessarily mean they won't work for you. But I do have a strong suspicion that that may be the case for a lot of you. And of course, you will notice that a lot of these things are recommended by doctors, especially the last solution, which is actually the go-to solution often recommended by many doctors for chronic back pain. You should, by the way, take a look at my free book on back pain, completely, absolutely free. Link to it is in the description or paid comment. In there, I talk about all the things that I tried. I mention all of these things that didn't work, and I talk a lot about the things that actually worked. This is a completely free book. There's no reason for you not to check it out. The link is in the description. I think this is gonna be a really valuable resource to you. Also, by the time you're watching this video, I should have detailed videos going into more depth on each and every one of these methods described in this video. You will learn exactly why they don't work. In this video, we will talk about that a lot, but I don't want this to be like a 5-hour video, so we'll just make like a quicker list of things that don't really work. Before we get into it, this is not medical advice. I'm not your doctor. If your doctor tells you to do something, give them a shot. Probably try it, even though it may turn out like that's not really gonna work. But still, like, follow doctor's orders. You shouldn't really disobey doctor's orders unless you exactly know what you're doing. And of course, if you've tried what they recommend and it doesn't work, which is kind of what happened in my case. Okay, the useless methods for back pain. Let's do this. Number one is rest. This was probably the first thing that was recommended to me since the moment I stepped into my general practitioner's office, and actually like pretty much all the other doctors I talked to, which in the end ended up being more than a dozen of them. All of them pretty much said you should rest. And look, I talk a lot about this in other videos as well. I believe a relevant video should appear above me right about now, really going into depth about how you should rest and when you should rest. Of course, like, I'm not saying never ever rest. That's obviously going to be counterproductive. But doctors will tend to emphasize and kind of like err on the side of really, really being cautious. And they may even like instill a little bit of fear in you if you're planning to like be more active or like get back into your life sooner. They may be like kind of adamant and quite persuasive, honestly, in making you like essentially be less active. What you should do probably is rest for no more than 2 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. If you have to rest for more than 6 weeks, I believe you're doing something wrong. Definitely, like, if you just injured your back, if your injury is really fresh, we're talking like maybe in the last week, let's just say, definitely give yourself at least 1 week, preferably 2, and maybe 4 is like if you really want to play it safe. But you should be careful, like, not to step into the territory of you being like very inactive, your muscles getting weaker, like your entire body forgetting how to move. Essentially, you want to get back into movement and power in life like as soon as possible, so be careful not to abuse rest. And for me, honestly, like, when doctors recommended rest, I did rest quite a while, and actually like it made things worse. I'm not even exactly sure what happened there. I think this was supposed to somehow work, but it ended up not working. For me, rest was actually even kind of detrimental, if I'm being honest. I'm not saying that's gonna be the case for you. It's probably gonna be beneficial for you. So definitely, like, rest for the first few weeks. But after that, after a month and a half tops, like, get back into your life. Don't become sedentary, don't become inactive. Number 2 is chiropractic. Apparently chiropractic is increasing in popularity like by the day, essentially. I even see like a lot of even Western medicine doctors like starting to recommend chiropractic more and more for back pain and for back injuries. And to be fair, like, even I'm addicted to all of those like shorts and reels of chiropractors like popping people, and yeah, they can be like pretty fun to watch. But my experience, like, I didn't really see any benefits from chiropractic. This is probably one of the biggest doubts that many other people have with chiropractic. So I went for a few sessions. They were quite expensive. I didn't really feel like a ton of relief. I basically kind of felt nothing. In fact, no, that's not true. I felt worse the next day after the first session. To be fair, the chiropractor warned me that's gonna probably happen, and it did. I did feel even more sore than that. But then after like the second, the third session, I didn't really feel like anything. I just went there. He kind of like cracked my joints. He was like a professional. He cared. He listened. I think he was like a good chiropractor. But the effects on my back pain were like I didn't really notice any change. And interestingly, chiropractic is one of these things that I think it kind of tends to work more if you believe it can work. And at the time, I was like quite skeptical. I mean, I still am, although today I'm probably a little bit more open-minded towards like some of these alternative approaches. But the fact of the matter is, I didn't see a lot of improvement, and maybe I should have like gone to more sessions. I didn't really see the point. Like there was enough time between the sessions for me to start feeling something. And the guy recommended like 10 sessions, and I didn't see the point because I just felt nothing. Like it was like I'm not doing anything. I'm just like throwing money down the drain. I wouldn't necessarily discourage you from trying a chiropractic, especially if your doctor recommends that. Like, I don't know, give it a shot, and maybe even try to kind of like I don't know, like hype yourself up a little bit. Like believe that's gonna happen because I mean I guess it has like an effect. And I talk a lot about this and pretty much in all of my content generally. Like it's really important for you to believe you can heal. I'm like a really logical, like rational person. I'm a computer programmer, I'm an engineer, but this is really powerful and it's real. If you believe like you're gonna heal quicker, if you believe that something's gonna help you, like you're actually improving your odds. For me, it turned out like chiropractic didn't work. But if you've had like positive experiences or you believe like this is something that can help you, don't be discouraged to try it out. But at the same time, if it does nothing for you, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Like a lot of people, probably even the majority of people who try chiropractic, they're like, yeah, like the cracks feel nice, but I don't see like any meaningful improvements. That's what happened to me. Plus, I should also let you know that I've been cracking my own joints like for a long time. This is not something that's like new to me. Yeah, like pretty much every joint in my body cracks. I have like no problem doing this myself. So I don't really need someone else, which is why like there's not a lot of magic for me in this like practice. Number 3 useless thing for back pain that I got recommended by a doctor was hot springs and thermal spa resorts. Some people call these banyas, I believe. They're essentially the same thing. It's like a big giant pool of warm water, maybe like some sort of mineral water. It's supposed to be healing. It's supposed to be good for like arthritic pain. And if you have like rheuma, I don't know how that's pronounced exactly, but you get the point. Like if you have like problems with your joints and chronic back pain falls into this category, you might get recommended this. For me, I went to like the hot springs. I went there for 10 sessions. It kind of felt like nice while I was doing it, but I didn't notice any improvements whatsoever. In any case, there's no downside in like spending some time in warm or hot water. I think this can actually help some people. It didn't do anything for me, but this one is actually like something that I think should be helpful to a lot more people. So definitely don't be discouraged to try this one. And I think out of all the things in this video that I think were kind of like a waste of money and time and effort on my side, I think this one had like the best chance of healing. And like a small related side point here, sometimes hot showers, like really warm showers, they actually help me. So maybe it's like a more temporary relief, but they obviously relax your body, and I think that can be a good thing. So even though this didn't work for me, I think if your doctor recommends this especially, or if you get the chance, like experiment with this approach, I think this can actually be useful. Next, and related to the previous one, is heat. So several people recommended me I try heat on the parts of my back that were hurting, the parts with the boo-boo. And I did try this. I didn't see any effect. In fact, like the pain I felt only kind of started becoming like hot pain, if that makes sense. It was just like, like at first it feels kind of nice, like, ooh, it's warm, that's hot, I like it. But the pain is still there. It doesn't really help a lot with the pain. And I really gave this like a real shot. I really tried. I got like a lot of the thermal pads, like decent equipment. I learned how to apply it. I didn't notice any improvement. Again, this may be recommended to you by a lot of people, and you should probably try it, especially if like professionals recommend it. It might be beneficial to you. For me, it did nothing. Number 5, and again related to the previous one or two actually, is infrared therapy. So this was actually recommended to me by my dad. He thinks that infrared light is generally good for the body and especially good for these types of pain and problem like chronic pain, chronic back pain. I tried it. I got like a really nice lamp. I targeted the lamp and the rays at my back. I spent like maybe 10 or 20 minutes, like pretty much every other day for a few weeks. It kind of feels okay, like the warmth is good, but again, like I didn't notice any real improvements from this. Number 6 is orthopedic shoes. And God, I hated this one. They looked so ridiculous that I felt like I kind of felt really goofy and like like a dork wearing them. And in case you don't know, like orthopedic shoes can come in a lot of different varieties. I think I got like, they were somewhat of a generic shoe, the ones that I ended up picking. They have like special surfaces on the foot and they're supposed to like be easier when you walk and help you like maintain better posture. This one was not only useless, but it actually made me feel back pain more. I'm not sure, like maybe I did something wrong here, but they didn't really help a lot with my posture. And while we're at it, like posture is, I'm not sure how much of a role it plays in chronic back pain. I think it does have like some role, but probably not as much as a lot of people would like you to believe. I've noticed this myself because I've had periods when I've had really good posture and I've had periods when I had like terrible posture, and it wasn't really related to back pain. So I'm not sure how relevant posture is. For that reason, I think like orthopedic shoes probably are not gonna be the right solution for a lot of you guys. If you get recommended this solution, again, like, and this is a common theme throughout this video, if a professional recommends this to you, I guess you might want to give it a shot. But for this one, I think the end result is gonna be kind of what happened to me. Like, you're not really gonna have any notable improvements in your back pain. Next, number 7 is topical remedies. Everyone recommended this, like doctors, neighbors, grandmas, the auntie who believes in like, conspiracy theory, and she's also like a little bit psychic. Like, everyone recommended topical remedies. I tried several of these solutions. The most memorable one of these was I think it was called Tiger's Claw. When you apply it, it has like, it's really like sticky and jelly, and it has this like strong minty smell. And when you apply it on the surface, it's actually, it feels kind of nice initially because you get this like hot cold sensation, and I think that kind of numbs the pain temporarily. But after 3 minutes, like, I didn't feel any relief anymore. So yeah, I mean, this one is pretty common. A lot of people recommend it. I think you don't really have downsides if you try it, because typically these solutions are not even that expensive. So maybe it can help you, but I think like this is actually just like another band-aid fix. This isn't gonna be the solution to your problem. Number 8 is, I can't believe I'm gonna share this, magnets. So a lot of you may not be familiar with this, but there is like a sort of like an isolated branch of pseudoscience, I believe, and like some alternative unproven medicine that is kind of based on the presumption that magnets are really good for healing certain like conditions and illnesses. Of course, there is a school of thought that believes that magnets can heal back pain. Basically, like, okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and admit it. I got this like device from my grandma. In my region, this is kind of popular. These devices were called Cosmodisc. They were like really popular during one time. And it's essentially like, it's kind of like a band that you put like along your spine. It's like a really long, like, you kind of wear it kind of like suspenders, and it goes, like the magnets go along your vertebrae. And there's also like a smaller, kind of like a belt thing that you put around like your lower back. Yeah, It's magnets. They're supposed to be like magical. They're supposed to heal your back pain. And you're guessing right, like they didn't do anything. Look, I'm just gonna be real. Like I wouldn't be surprised and like if maybe in a few years some new revolutionary medical breakthrough comes out that's like based on magnets. I guess something like related to magnets may have like some healing sort of properties. But right now I think a lot of this like area of alternative medicine, let's just say, or scammery if you want to be like more cynical about it, I think it doesn't really have a lot to offer. Even my grandma who gave me the device told me like, yeah, this is not gonna really help you, but try it out, whatever. I don't know, I think you don't even have to bother with this one. I guess some people like have reported feeling better. I'm actually hesitant to discourage any method. The things that ended up helping me, very few people would believe they're actually effective. So maybe you're different, maybe some things will end up helping you. Even though I believe like what I recommend as the top most important approaches, it's impossible they're not gonna help you. I think they're like the most effective thing. But again, like if a doctor maybe recommends you, which is unlikely, I believe, and if they do, it may even be like a red flag. But if they recommend you something along those lines, like something related to magnets, if you're feeling open-minded, if you're feeling lucky, like maybe give it a shot. Personally though, I probably wouldn't waste my time and money on this one. Next is probably one of the weirder solutions on this list, and that's folk medicine man, I believe, that in my region and probably in other regions, and predominantly in Eastern Europe and maybe in Asia, is called something like a bone fixer. So a bone fixer is basically like a really strong, usually gentleman, usually a man. They have like a really keen sense of touch. They're usually like, they often even work as physiotherapists or they do massage or anything like that. They're also known to like perform sort of these risky movements and manipulations of bones and joints. Like when someone breaks a bone, these may even be like the most like the first people you go and see, because they have like a really sharp sense of like touch and feel, and they kind of understand the anatomy of the human body, I guess, like on some deeper level. And they don't just fix bones, they're actually like pretty much every therapy that involves touch, let's just say, they're really good at it. And I had like a chance to work with one of these people. He was helping a family member of mine who had like a lot worse issues. He actually had like a brain stroke, and he even got like paralyzed. It was like a really tragic situation. And this bone fixer, like healer type of man, he actually helped him a lot. Like he helped him regain a lot of his function, even when a lot of the doctors, they said like this is kind of like a hopeless case. This person, a lot of his body was supposed to remain paralyzed for like the rest of his life. And this person, like through these like really intense like massages, and like they're not even massages, they're like, I don't know, like pressuring, like it's really intense. He helped my relative. Since I was like really complaining a lot about my back, eventually my family recommended like try a session with the bone fixer guy. I'll definitely make a separate video about this one. The sessions were really intense. I think it was good for me to feel even more pain than I was feeling all of the time. That's kind of how I would describe it. But long term, I didn't really notice any meaningful improvement. I think like the pain stayed the same even after a couple of sessions. And look, like I'm recording these videos in English. I guess like this is gonna probably reach more like a Western audience. So I guess you're not even really gonna meet one of these people. I don't know like how common this is in like other countries or other regions. But if you do, like I would actually advise a little bit of caution here, because like these people, they are like really good at what they do, but they do it like kind of like on the gray market. They don't have like any qualifications, like official medical qualifications for performing this, which by the way, like for me is not even like, it's not even stopping me anymore. Medical like accreditations and certificates mean nothing to me. But you should know that you're gonna be doing these sessions like at your own risk. And to be fair, like these guys are usually like, if they sense like the movement or the maneuver or the therapy is gonna be risky, they're kind of gonna like back off. They're not gonna go through it with like something very dangerous. but they're known to, like, if they see like a situation where maybe like doctors would be like, no, I'm not touching that, these guys might be like, let's see what we can do, and maybe they're gonna like, they're gonna fix someone's bone, or something that's a lot of official medical personnel would shy away from. These guys might go in there, and they actually help people. They actually help a lot of people. And the funny thing about them is, like, you pay them whatever you feel like you should pay them or you can afford at that moment, and they don't even like, they're not even doing this for the money. You can even not pay them anything and they're gonna be fine with it, I guess. And some people, like, they give them entire fortunes because they really help a lot of people that modern medicine can't really do anything about them. So definitely like a very mysterious type of healer. If you have a chance to work with one of these people or someone similar, I guess like they come in a lot of different flavors depending on the region where you are. I don't know, you're gonna have to make your own judgment call here. I decided to try a few sessions. It was really intense. It was like a very different experience, but in the long run, it didn't really help me a lot. Okay, number 10, we're staying in the weird territory, and that's actually humming and singing. So this is not something that you're probably gonna see ever recommended by anyone, because it's mostly like what I kind of discovered. And this was during the end of my like back pain journey. I noticed that I have like this habit to kind of like sing along when I'm doing something at home, or maybe even like hum, like whatever I feel like spontaneously doing. And I kind of noticed that this is not an approach that's recommended, but maybe sometimes, like, if you hum, if you make your body like vibrate, maybe you're gonna feel slightly better. If you hear this, like maybe you might run into this advice by some sort of like a guru or whatever on the internet. Just know that they're probably recommending something that's, even if it works, it's not like a real solution, a real cure. Feel free to try it out if you want. Like, see if you do something like let your chest and your belly like vibrate, and maybe your back is gonna feel better. But yeah, like this one is definitely weird. It didn't do a ton for me. I figured I would include it as well. And last one, and definitely the strangest thing that you would expect on this list of things that don't really work for back pain, or at least they didn't work for me, was physiotherapy. I know, this is like the golden standard of Western medicine. You are probably gonna get prescribed some sort of physical therapy. I suggest you go through with it because, again, like, I think I was very unlucky in a lot of these situations. But in my case, physical therapy didn't really do a lot of good. I didn't see a lot of improvement from the exercises. I even did like a lot of other forms of physical therapy. I did something called TENS, which means transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation. Yeah, something like that. I tried that. That did nothing at all except like tingling sensations in the places where like the torture device was attached. I tried ultrasound therapy. That was like a complete waste of time, I believe. I also tried like this weird hydrotherapy kind of thing where you get into like this big like vat, this tab of water, kind of like a jacuzzi actually, and the water jets are like targeted at your back. It's supposed to like make you feel some relief. That was completely useless. And like the exercises I did with the physiotherapists, and they showed me like the movements, maybe they were the only like bright spot in the whole approach, but also like they weren't exactly really useful. I actually ended up finding other exercises that were somewhat useful. And I talk a lot about this in my other content, what exercises you should do. And ultimately, you want to end up going back to the gym or some sort of like strength training. I think that's going to be a major part of the answer for a lot of people. In any case, those were the 12 things that I tried for back pain that didn't have any effect on my back pain at all. I wouldn't say that did any harm, because I have a separate video that goes into detail on the things that I tried that actually made back pain worse. These were just things that were useless. Harmless, but useless. And again, if you want to take a deeper dive into all of these topics and also see what are the things that actually ended up working and the things that I recommend, check out the free book. Link to it is in the description or in the pinned comment. Definitely check it out. I think it's going to be a super valuable resource in your healing process. Also, I have an app for back pain, which has a free tier as well. Definitely see that. I think that's going to be helpful. You can also, if you're really serious about healing, you want to do it in the fastest way possible, and you also want to spend as little time in pain as possible, so do it as painlessly as you can, definitely check out my course. Link to that is going to be in the description, the back pain blueprint. I think that's like the best way for you to heal your back. You can also take a quiz, a really detailed survey with, like, I believe at this point, maybe even more than 60 questions. Based on your answers, it's going to craft the perfect strategy for you. If you follow that, you're well on your way to healing your back. And if you're interested in working with me directly, if you want me in your corner the whole time, a link where you can schedule a free consultation with me will be in the description or the pinned comment. My name is Mate from Real Deal Heal. Thank you for watching this video. Drop a like if you found it valuable. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell thing if you have problems with your back, because I'm going to publish a lot of content on back pain. I think you're going to find this channel to be a very useful resource in your healing journey. Also, share this with anyone who's struggling as well. If you have any questions or comments, the comment section is where you should go. The next video that's going to appear right around here is probably the best place if you want to keep binging on these videos for whatever reason. And I will see you there. Until next time, be brave.